It was a cold Friday night in a small Texas town, the kind of night when the wind seemed to carry the ghosts of old country songs, and the neon bar signs flickered like lonely beacons in the dark. Inside Mac's Roadhouse, the air was thick with laughter, smoke, and the smell of cheap beer. Country rock blared from the jukebox, boots thudded on the wooden floor, and tough-looking bikers leaned on the bar, nursing drinks after a long ride. Among them was Rex Dalton, the leader of the Ironhawks. Big, rough, and scarred from years on the road, Rex was known for two things: his temper and his loyalty to his crew. To most, he was a man you didn't mess with. That night, though, the bar's door creaked open, and someone no one expected walked in. A woman, maybe in her late 30s, wearing faded jeans, a loose flannel shirt, and an old baseball cap. She looked like someone who worked hard for a living. Her hands were calloused, her shoes worn. She wasn't there to cause trouble. She just walked to a corner seat and quietly ordered a coffee, not a beer. Her name was Sarah Jenkins. The bartender, Mac, glanced at her with curiosity. "Coffee? You sure you were in the right place, ma'am?" he joked. She smiled softly. "Yeah, I just needed a quiet place to think." Long day, but in a place like Mac's, quiet never lasted long. Rex and his buddies noticed her. A woman alone in a biker bar, drinking coffee. To them, it was odd, even suspicious. "Hey, sweetheart," Rex called out with a grin that wasn't friendly. "You get lost or something? This ain't no Starbucks." The bar chuckled. Sarah didn't respond. She simply stared into her coffee, as if the world outside, that cup, didn't matter. That silence, that calm, irritated Rex. He wasn't used to being ignored. "I'm talking to you," he said, getting up and walking toward her. The other bikers watched, half amused, half ready for entertainment. "I heard you," Sarah replied quietly. "I just don't want trouble." That only made him grin wider. "Trouble? Oh honey, I'm trouble." He leaned over her table, his leather jacket brushing against her sleeve. "Tell you what, why don't you smile a little? You'd look prettier if you did." The crowd laughed again. Sarah looked up. Her eyes were calm, almost too calm, the kind that could silence thunder. "You don't want to do this," she said softly. Her tone wasn't pleading. It was a warning. Rex chuckled. "Oh yeah? What are you gonna do, lady? Call the cops?" Then, in a moment of stupidity, or arrogance, Rex reached out, trying to tug on her flannel shirt. "Come on, lighten up." There was a rip. The laughter stopped. The air froze. Because under that torn fabric, on her left shoulder and upper arm, was a bold, black ink tattoo. The eagle, globe, and anchor, the unmistakable emblem of the United States Marine Corps. Beneath it, words that read, "In memory of Sergeant Matthew Jenkins, Semper Fi." The room went dead silent. Sarah didn't move. She just stared at Rex, not with anger, but with deep, sorrowful eyes. "That was my husband," she said quietly. "Killed in Fallujah, 2004. And I was there when they brought him home." Rex's smirk faded. The other bikers shifted uncomfortably. A few looked away. Sarah continued, her voice steady, but trembling with grief beneath the surface. "You think you've seen pain, mister? You think you're tough? Try holding your husband's dog tags in your hands while the Marine Corps plays backquote taps. Try explaining to a 5-year-old boy that his dad isn't coming home." Her voice cracked slightly, but she didn't flinch. "You ripped more than a shirt tonight. You disrespected a Marine's memory, and the woman who still carries his name." The silence was crushing. Rex's eyes darted to the tattoo again, then back to her face. He'd been in fights, seen blood, broken bones, but never had he felt this small. He took a step back, mumbling, I didn't know." Sarah looked down at her torn shirt, then up at him. "That's the thing about respect," she said softly. "You don't wait to know, before you show it." For a long moment, nobody moved. Even the jukebox seemed to hush. Then Mac, the bartender, broke the silence. "Sarah, I'm sorry about that. Here." He took off his denim vest and handed it to her gently. She nodded gratefully, putting it over her torn shirt. Rex stood frozen, his jaw tight, guilt flooding his chest. His buddies stared at him, not with laughter this time, but disappointment. He turned to Sarah. "Ma'am," he said quietly, "I messed up. I don't have words for it." He reached into his pocket, pulled out a small iron pendant shaped like a hawk, the emblem of his biker club, and placed it on the table. "This is all I can offer. My respect and an apology." Sarah looked at the pendant, then at him. "Respect isn't given through gifts," she said gently. "It's shown through what you do next." Rex nodded. And for once, the man everyone feared looked like a child trying to make something right. He turned to the bar and said, "Drinks on me. But first raise your glasses." Everyone looked puzzled. He cleared his throat. "To Sergeant Matthew Jenkins, a hero who gave everything. And to the woman who carries his strength." The room lifted their glasses, even Sarah. with her coffee cup, to Sergeant Jenkins, the bar echoed softly. After that night, things changed. Rex and his crew never treated strangers the same way again. In fact, once a month, the Iron Hawks started holding charity drives for veterans and their families. And Rex, he got a tattoo on his arm, a small Marine Corps emblem, not because he earned it, but as a symbol of respect. As for Sarah, she came back to Max a few weeks later, not for coffee this time, but to thank them. When Rex saw her, he stood up immediately. "Ma'am," he said, voice steady, "I've been trying to be the kind of man your husband would have respected." Sarah smiled, a soft, forgiving smile. "Then keep doing that," she said. "That's how you honor his memory." And with that, she left, like a quiet storm passing, leaving behind a bar full of men who'd just learned something they'd never forget. That night became a story whispered around every biker bar in Texas, about the day a tough man ripped a woman's shirt and found out what real strength looked like, about how one Marine's sacrifice still had the power to humble hearts, and about how kindness, respect, and courage can come from